Hi beautiful people, welcome back to my channel or series videos. Thank you so much for the likes and the comment. Thank you for subscribing to this channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. In this video, I'll be updating you on Twist of Fate season 4 match update. Rhea's plans against Prachi backfires. Let's go. Rhea calls Aliyah and says she's going with Ranbir to Bangalore and will spend some good time with him. She says, I don't know what to do, and that's why I called you. Rhea was so happy and smiles happily, but as she turned, she saw Prachi packing her clothes. The smiles on Rhea's face vanishes. She cut the calls and entered Prachi's room. As Rhea enters, Prachi tells her that she is coming with them to Bangalore and tickets are booked. Rhea says, you can't come. You will take care of Dida and home. Prachi says she also said this, but Dida asks her to go and surprise Ranbir. She says Ranbir can't stay without me, and that's why Dida asked me to go with him. Dida comes there and asks Prachi, why did you tell Rhea? I told you not to tell anybody, that is a surprise. Prachi says, it's okay, it's Rhea, it's my sister. Then Ranbir comes in. Grandma Dida says Rhea has taken surprise for Sid and wants to show me. She goes with Rhea. Ranbir tells that surprises are good. Prachi says you might get one. Grandma Dida takes Rhea to her room. She says, you can keep everyone in dark, and tells that you fooled Prachi and she will believe you. But nothing changed here, rather than relations. You are still the same Rhea and haven't changed at all. Rhea asks, what are you saying? Grandma Dida asks her not to act in front of her. Rhea says, I don't understand. Grandma says, shall I ask in front of everybody why you want to spend time with Ranbir alone? Rhea is shocked and says, why are you saying this? He's coming to drop me to Bangalore. She asks, why are you remembering past? We are married now, and whatever was between us is finished. Dida says, you couldn't clarify well and your intentions are clearly visible. She says, I can see clearly the way you look at Ranbir. Don't challenge my life's long experience. Rhea says there is nothing wrong with my heart. Grandma Dida says, I just have doubts, and that's why I'm sending Prachi with you. If my doubt increases, then I will have to talk to Sid and ask him to leave from here and stay in some other house with his wife. She asks, did you understand? Grandma goes. Rhea sits in shock. Shaina comes there and says, I have reached there. Rhea hugs her and asks her, how are you? Shaina says, fine, and how are you? Rhea cries, keeping her head on her shoulder. Shaina asks her to say, Rhea says, I want Ranbir. Shaina says, that's why you married him. Shaina asks Rhea, did you marry Ranbir? She says, no. That she married his brother Sid. Shaina feels sorry for Rhea and asks if Ranbir got married and with whom. Rhea says with Prachi. Shaina says, sorry, I should have done something for you, but now I can't. Rhea tells Shaina that Grandma Dida warned her and said that if I don't stop my plans, then she will tell everyone about me. Rhea says Ranbir and I are about to go to Bangalore, and by the time Sid would have left for Mumbai, she says she would have spent time with Ranbir, someone else's husband. Shaina asks if Sid is in Bangalore. Rhea says Ranbir was taking me to Bangalore and I planned to act unwell so that he spends time with me. She says Dida convinced Prachi at the end moment so that Ranbir and I don't stay together. Shaina asks if Prachi knows about her feelings. Rhea says no, she thinks I am changed. Shaina says you can execute your plan. All you have to do is just break her leg. She will cancel. Rhea is so happy. They planned to break Prachi's leg. How? by pushing her from the stairs. Rhea says it is a wonderful idea. Why didn't I get it? Rhea and Shaina comes to the kitchen. Shaina asks Sonny to take her to Prachi's room. Sonny takes her with her. Rhea takes oil container and soaks cotton in it. Shaina comes there and calls Ranbir. Ranbir asks, how is she? Ranbir hugs Shaina. Shaina says she is good. Prachi hugs Shaina and asks, how is she? Shaina apologizes for past mistakes. Prachi says, I never took your words on heart. Prachi and Shaina were coming down the stairs. Prachi comes and looks at the oil on the floor. Shaina waits for her to fall. Prachi stops Shaina and says, oil is on the floor. Sonny comes there. Pallavi asks, how did the oil fall here? Prachi says, I will clean it and asks her to bring mop. Sonny brings mop. Prachi cleans the floor. Prachi tells Ranbir that she's coming to Bangalore with him. Ranbir asks her not to joke with him and says it is a sensitive topic for me. Prachi says, I am really going with you. He asks if tickets are done. She says yes. He says this is my life's good surprise and thanks her. He gets happy and hugs her. He says, I love you. She says, I love you too. Rhea is thinking about Prachi and thinks she will go with me as extra baggage and has come between Ranbir and me. She sleeps and falls down. Shaina thinks Rhea fell down on the same place where she had spilled the oil for Prachi. That's back to sender. Pallavi and Shaina help her get up. Pallavi asks, are you okay? Shaina says, Rhea fell down where oil has fallen. Dida says, Prachi had cleaned the floor. Pallavi says, Prachi knew that Rhea has to go upstairs and bring her stuff. Then why didn't she clean the floor properly? Rhea says, Prachi wanted me to fall. Dida asks, why Prachi will want you to fall? She is your sister. Rhea says, I didn't feel much pain by falling, but felt much knowing the reason. She says, Dida, you always support Prachi. It was my trip. I was going to my friend's marriage, and moreover, I was going to meet Sid, my husband. She says, I can't go alone. I never said that Ranbir shall come with me. Rhea says, since you asked Prachi that Ranbir shall go with me, something happened between Ranbir and Prachi. Pallavi shouts, Prachi! Dida asks her to calm down. Prachi tells Ranbir that mommy is calling me. Ranbir says she seems to be angry that Prachi shouldn't go now. Prachi goes and Ranbir follows her. Rhea says, I feel Prachi is living in her past and she still feels that whatever was between Ranbir and me is still there. She says Prachi doubts me and thinks that I have something for Ranbir in my heart. Dida says if this would have been truth, then she wouldn't have let Ranbir go with you. Rhea says Prachi was acting to be mature. Dida asks Rhea, why is she making false stories? She says house breaks because of this kind of stories. Rhea says house don't break with such talks and asks, do you trust me? Do you trust me about Ranbir? Pallavi asks Dida to tell if she trusts Rhea. Rhea says she will apologize to her if she says once that she trusts her. She sees Prachi coming and pretends to be feeling pain. Pallavi collapses and says, your plan worked, Prachi. You didn't want Rhea to go with Ranbir to Bangalore. You got successful. Prachi and Ranbir look at each other and were shocked. Ranbir asks what has happened. Pallavi asks Rhea to tell him the truth so that even he will believe. She asks her not to hesitate to say the truth. She says, I will tell. Pallavi now decides to say the truth. She says Prachi didn't want Rhea to go to Bangalore with you. That's why she didn't clean the floor properly so that Rhea will fall down and get hurt and her plan gets cancelled. She says so that you both can go for a holiday away from the family and responsibilities. Prachi says you are thinking wrong. Pallavi says, I am seeing this. You don't trust Rhea about Ranbir and doubts her. Prachi says this is wrong. I trust her. Pallavi says you don't trust your sister or your marriage. Prachi says, you can tell me anything, but I can't think of making my sister fall down the stairs. I will never do this. She says, I was not taught to say in front of elders, but I am saying as I am getting bad in front of my sister. She says, I don't want to create my good impression in front of anyone. She says, I have full trust on my sister and believes that she has changed for better. Pallavi says, your tongue is working much today. Prachi says, I am not answering you back. I am trying to tell you that I didn't do whatever you are saying. She says, you have rights to scold me. I agree that I didn't clean the oil properly, but if you say that I did that to make Rhea fall down, then it is not right. Ranbir says maybe some oil thickness was left and tells that Prachi will never make Rhea fall down. Prachi says, Mommy can scold me, but please, never say that I am a bad sister. Doctor says she must be having muscle tear also and asks her not to move her foot. She says you need rest. Rhea says, I have flight for Bangalore. Pallavi says, you need rest, you can't go. Doctor says she is right. Rhea says she is fine and can walk. Come and walk, let me see. Pallavi calls Sid and says Rhea is not coming to Bangalore. She gives call to Ranbir. Ranbir talks to Sid and tells about Rhea's foot. Ranbir asks Prachi to unpack the bags. Pallavi says, you both are going to Bangalore. Ranbir asks why. Sid is coming here. Pallavi says, you both have spent quality time much in 2 years. I want you both to go as I don't want to see her face. What a woman. She says God knows what bad will happen with Rhea if Prachi stays here. Rhea thinks she won't let them go there and tells Pallavi that who will do the work if Prachi goes from here. She says, I asked Shaina to take care of me. Prachi says, I am not going anywhere and tells Rhea that she has to be here to look after Rhea. Pallavi then asks Rhea, do you trust her? Rhea says, yes. Pallavi said, it's okay. So all the traveling was cancelled and Rhea's plan backfired. It backfired in a way that she did not travel again to be with Ranbir alone. And not only that, she fell inside her own trap. Now she's not working well, at least for now. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.